Hi and welcome to this walkthrough. Today we're going to talk about the Total Money Makeover, favorite book by Dave Ramsey's Accord. And we're going to go through the key steps and the principles from the book. And of course, I urge you to buy the book because there's a lot of information in it that we can't capture in a video like this. But without further ado, let's go into the key insights of this magnificent book. So the agenda is we're going to go through the baby steps that he outlines. And then also we're going to go into the bit more advanced topics. So baby step number 1. Have a $1,000 emergency fund. And of course, this was written some years ago. Maybe you want to have an even bigger emergency fund, but start with something that sounds feasible to you. Building your $1,000 emergency fund, here's some tips and strategies gleaned from the book. Set up an automatic transfer to separate savings account each payday. So every time you get paid, transfer some percentage over to the savings. Try not to keep it on the same place. And I think this is such an awesome and self-evident way to save money. So DollarScaler.com, hard approve. Number 2, cut non-essential expenses like dining out and subscription services to accelerate your fund growth. So this is just for a time, right? You don't have to see this as a forever step, but you can cancel some of your subscriptions for a couple of months and you will see that your emergency fund grows exponentially much faster. You just take the money that you used to do on dining out and subscriptions and you just make sure they end up in the savings account. Because why is the emergency fund so important? It's so you don't feel trapped, and especially so you don't have to reach for that credit card, okay? Number 3, look for ways to increase income, such as taking on a part-time job or selling unused items. Of course, this does not work for everyone. Some people are already have 2 or 3 jobs. I'm not saying that it's for everyone, but you might be able to sell some items that you're not using. So having in your life, because trust me, I have quite a few too many things around me already, and most of them are actually not being used. So I try to implement this on myself. And basically the equation is this. How often do I use it? Does it warrant the actual space and stress of not using it? So when you get rid of stuff, don't see it as, oh my God, I can't afford to keep it. That's not the point. The point is you'll actually feel less stressed the less things you have that are standing there unused. It's a pro tip. I think this is that part of this tip is really great. Not everyone can take an extra job. If you can, if you actually have the time and you don't have children you have to take care of, for a while, this might be a feasible way forward. Keep the money in a readily accessible account, like a high-yield savings account for easy use in a genuine emergency. And this is also very important. Do not take this $1,000 emergency fund and invest it in like long-term things. Then it's not an emergency fund. Then it's something else. Then it's an investment. Have it in a high-yield savings account, as big, as good as you can get. But the point is, you should use this instead of your credit card. Okay, let's move on. The debt snowball method. Let's first discuss what is it. The process of paying off debts from smallest to largest balance, regardless of interest rate. The psychological advantage of this is that you have one less debt in your stack of debts. Feeling that you're making headway, that you get traction, sometimes is the most important part. So the psychological advantage, quick wins that keep you motivated to become debt-free. Ramsey's book emphasizes this method as a key strategy for eliminating debt and achieving financial freedom. It all depends on your situation. So I think for most people, this is the soundest advice. Yeah, let's keep it at that. Baby step 3. 3 to 6. Okay, so now we're advancing, right? Step 1 was making sure you don't have to use your credit card for stupid things like emergency. Oh, she needs more new football shoes. Let's not reach for the credit card. Let's actually just go to the emergency fund and take it from there. Okay, number 3. 3 to 6 months expense fund. The key points in this one. Number 1, this step is about creating a robust emergency fund to cover the 3 to months of living expenses that you currently have. So if you have $2,000 a month that you need to pay, then you want to have, in this case, if you go for 3 months, you want to have $6,000 in an account, somewhat easily ready for you to use. If emoji of a poop hits the fan, then you should be able to reach to that without having to go into more advanced debt. The fund should cover essential expenses, including bills, food, and transportation. So just tally that up, see how much it is per month, and work towards this goal. I think this is essential. Very sound advice. Throughout the whole book, it's very sound advice. This provides a financial cushion and security against life's uncertainties after clearing all debts. Be smart about it. Even though, because you can't wait 20 years paying off your house and then now I can actually have some money for my expense fund. No, you should have this. And if you have those kind of big debts, you should still pay them off as timely as you can. But I would say for the small debts, the stupid debts, the credit card debts, you want to get rid of them and then start saving for this. Baby step number 4, invest 15% in retirement. And this is to each their own, but this is what he recommends. Ramsey recommends investing 15% of the household income into retirement funds. The focus is on building wealth for retirement with an emphasis on starting early for maximum impact. The money you generate reinvests itself and so on and so forth. So you actually get more and more money for your retirement. Examples of suitable retirements is Roth IRAs and pre-tax retirement funds, of course. You may discuss the investment strategy that could be used like dollar cost averaging. Yeah, invest 15% in retirement. That ensures you can have silver lining in your elder years. Baby step number 5, college funding for children. This step helps in securing children's future education, emphasizes the importance of starting to save for college early. All of this is, of course, the earlier you are. If you weren't early, that's fine. Yes, right? Because 20 years rolls actually quite quickly. Even if you're 60, you can save and actually have a much better future. 60, 70, you can always save. Not spending everything you get is a good idea. Investment in education savings accounts, ESAs, or 529 plans is recommended. I know nothing of this because I'm not an American, but find the equivalent in your country. It's important to balance college savings with other financial goals. So don't put all eggs in the same basket. We're coming back to that over and over again here when we digest smart writings from people who have been working with this for decades. So that's baby step number 5. Make sure your kids can go to college. And this is kind of market specific or country specific. So some countries actually do provide this service free of charge, which is awesome. But if you're not based in Åland, then of course you might need to pay some money for. Okay, baby step number 6, pay off home early. And so we come back to this. Benefits of early payoffs. Paying off the mortgage early relieves the biggest debt, frees up substantial funds each month, and a considerable amount of money that you save by not having to put it into your house or apartment. Understanding mortgage terms, of course, very important. Before making extra payments, it's crucial to understand the mortgage terms, as some may have penalties for early repayments. So this is sneaky. You should change your mortgage before you do that, then obviously. And then budgeting for extra payments. Allocate extra fund towards the mortgage, requiring careful budgeting and potential cutting back on non-essential expenses. So the essentials you need to have. The other things is highly questionable, and it's about basically discipline. And if you're good at smart planning, then it actually doesn't even require that much discipline. But if you want to get rid of the biggest debt you have, the house, then start thinking about it like apply the smartest you have on the problem. Baby step number 7, building wealth and give. So this is where we kind of go on the other side of this. Basically why I have DollarScaler is that I want everyone to be financially free, because I believe that the more financially free people we have on the planet, the better chance we have to survive as a civilization. I don't mean to be doom and gloom, but I do see a lot of short-term decisions being made that is counterproductive to us being a thriving society. So I'm trying to solve it any way I can, which is information like this. So, build wealth and give. Key actions. Invest in wealth-building opportunities such as real estate, mutual funds, stocks. Of course, now he gets into the investment of, having investment that actually generates a yield, right? And then also to commit to a mindset of abundance and generosity, allocating a portion of your income to charitable givers. That is awesome. You can also do this in a more practical way, like giving away free information, helping others. Of course, you can do it with money, and that is kind of a passive way to do it. But of course, if you have money to spare, that is a great way to do it. And even if you don't have money to spare, the act of giving is very rewarding, and it's something that he puts in baby step number 7. He also mentions that you should seek financial advice and guidance to maximize your wealth accumulation and investment strategies. In some markets, in some countries, it's very beneficial to put money allocated to giving, to charities, and that can help you with the taxes. Now, going into the more advanced topics, budgeting and expense tracking. Why is it important? Dave Ramsey emphasized the importance of budgeting and keeping track of your expenses. This, I think, is it should be the first step for everyone. And we should all be taught this in school about budgeting and how to track your expenses. Understanding where every dollar goes is key to financial control. It all depends on your financial situation. If you take care of the dimes, the dollar will take care of themselves. It helps in eliminating unnecessary spending and prioritizing financial goals. We must understand something very important. Whoever you were before you saw this video is in the past, right? No amount of quantum physics and AI will help you get that time back. So the only thing you can do is act in the actual moment that you are right now. And every piece of planning that you're doing, including all of the financial investments and things like that, they will never happen in the future. They will always happen to you in the moment, because this is the only frame of life that we have. It's the in the moment life that we have. So to help eliminate unnecessary spending and prioritizing financial goals, if you have financial goals that you bring into the present, saying, I want to be on that vacation in 3 months' time, so I'm not going to be spending this dime right now. That is all you can do, right? That is, you can only act here and now. And I think that is very important to understand, something you should bring with you. Avoiding new debt. Of course, you should be avoiding new debt. Practical tips to avoid borrowing and maintaining a financial health that you can be proud of. Use debit cards or cash for purchases to prevent accruing new debt. So, do I have credit cards? I have one emergency credit card that I'm going to get rid of. Why? Because I'm not using it. And if and when I use it, I always wish I used something else instead, because paying that back is always more hassle than it's worth, because it's so hard to pay it back. I can't just send the money to them because they want me to be in debt. So no, I'm not for credit cards. I think you should only have them as a backup as long as you need to have them as a backup. When you have a financial fund or expense fund or whatever you have where you can take money from if something happens, that's so much better than it's your credit card. And you know what? If you have it on a high yield savings account, it's actually generating you money every day. Instead of if you use $1, it's going to cost you more dollars every day. So be your own credit card. I think that is the best advice when it comes to credit card, but you might be in a position where you need to have that safety. I always work as a self-employed, and sometimes I need to have that kind of security, especially if I go into a new venture and I didn't manage the last venture very well. It's good to have one of those. But as soon as you're financially set for that, cut them up. Don't use credit cards. They are not your friend. Create a realistic budget and stick to it to avoid overspending. Yes, that is a really good idea. You know, it's okay to say no. It's okay to say no to your spouse. And you don't have to just say no and then be a hard ass. You can actually say no and then remember, we're trying to save for this vacation. Remember, we want to have an expense fund so we don't have to have credit cards because they are a debt trap. You know, have a conversation. So with your spouse, with yourself, now you should be good, but we're living in the weird times. So having a discussion with your kids of what they can have and what they cannot have is also a very good idea. I grew up without getting the things I wanted. Did that make me a loser? No, I would say it made me more financially adept than most people that I know. First step is, you don't want your kids to grow up thinking that everything I point on should magically appear beside me because I'm such an adorable kid. Instead, you're building them up for failure. So all this rant is about saying it's more than okay to say no to your kids. If it's not within the budget, make sure they understand why they can't have it. That builds character. That builds perseverance. It builds grit, right? So it's just good. And of course, build an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses to reduce the need for debt. This we already talked about twice now. Seek financial advice and accountability to stay on track with financial goals. If that is something that you need, you might just need a spreadsheet and make sure that you put it in your calendar every week to go look at it and say, oh, I'm out of my depths here. I need to go back to the budget, or whatever it might be. Make sure to implement new behaviors if you want other results. So, the importance of financial discipline, key takeaways. Financial discipline is the cornerstone of long-term wealth management. Making hard choices and sacrifices now lead to greater financial security in the future. I mean, talk about preaching, right? Tracking and controlling expenses is a crucial aspect of financial discipline. Patience and perseverance are key to maintaining financial discipline over time. That's it. If you like these kind of things, and if you got some sort of information that might have sparked an insight in you, then I have done my job. I'm very happy. If you want more of that to keep you getting to a better financial place in your life, go to DollarScaler.com. That's where we publish all the articles and some of these presentations, and sometimes the YouTube videos as well. I just want to make sure that as many people as possible are financially free, because that frees them up to take the right decisions. And I think that is what the world deserves and what it needs moving forward. And you don't have to care about any of that. All you need to care about is your financial health, and then DollarScaler.com is a great place to be. So this is me, Linus, signing out for this time, and I hope to see you in the next one.